Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's Tuesday. Feels like a victory Monday on a Tuesday. The Vikings come back versus the Bears. J.J. McCarthy. All the doubters. And we caught up with Brevin Span-Ford at the Gophers game. He played on Thursday night with the Cowboys, so he was back in town. Got a chance to ask him some NFL, some college questions about being back on campus. But here's the thing, man. T.J. Hockenson, Justin Jefferson, not the usual suspects that helped out J.J. McCarthy. We'll talk about the guys that we didn't even expect to have an impact that had an impact and helped J.J. McCarthy come away with his first win versus the Chicago Bears. Coming up next on The Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now The Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Hey, good people, wherever you're watching from, thank you for joining me today on the Ron Johnson Show with my co-host, Sam Ekstrom. And it's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Not too hot, not too cold, just like Baby Bear liked it. And the Minnesota Vikings, speaking of Baby Bears, put the Bears to bed. Put the Bears right to bed. I was up late doing the post-game show with the guys on the squad show, doing the fan line, and all the fans we're just super excited that they got to go to bed with a smile on their face. And all the Bears fans went to bed just wondering, what if J.J. McCarthy wasn't the second coming of Steve Young? All the Bears fans are wondering that right now. Spice Adams, I know you saw his Instagram stuff, all the stuff he went through, the emotions of the 85 Bears in the building. Spice Adams there, everybody's there. Peanut Tillman, Jerry Azuma, you name it, they're there. And the Bears did what the Bears tend to do. And Caleb Williams, you can't put a saddle on a wild horse. He made the Caleb Williams plays. But it's at the end of the day, the Minnesota Vikings got the W. Super excited for the Vikings fans because Kevin O'Connell was going to be questioned if J.J. McCarthy continued to have the game he started off with, but it didn't happen. But we'll talk about that as I bring my producer to the show, Sam Ekstrom. I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get not one, not two, $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. People, I've told you this before. I did it. I bet on the Nuggets Lakers way back when. That was my first bet, my first $5 bet. I took advantage of the bonus. I still have bonus bets that I've been using. Still have bonus bets. And I told you guys this. I don't know who remembers, but a long time ago, I said, get those future bets in. Sam, you remember, as I bring my producer to the show, Sam Ekstrom, I said, get your future bets in, people, because the Vikings are going to beat the Bears. I told you guys this. I don't care if it was 1 point favorite for the Vikings, 1 point favorite for the Bears. The Vikings were going to win the game. Hello, they played to win the game. And they covered too. So for all you FanDuelers out there, congratulations. I know you're so excited. You got your bonus bets. You got your win. And Bears fans, if you bet the Bears to cover, wah, wah, wah. Try again. But Sam, last night it was a fun postcast. Oh, yeah. It was a fun squad show. It's going to be a fun week because Michael Penix Jr. Michael, I don't know what his middle name, Penix Jr. I don't know if his Devon
I'll look it up for you.
I don't know if his Travion Terrius, whatever it is. Michael Durag Penix is coming into the building. And this whole week, the Vikings are on cloud nine. Why are they on cloud nine, Sam? Because they won the game. And that's all that matters. You got his middle name? You found it?
Terrence.
Oh, it's not his.
Tarrence.
Oh, so basic. I thought it was going to be something flashy. I feel you, mom and dad Penix out there. But sticking to this Bears-Vikings game, Sam, because they get today Victory Tuesday for them. They get the day off, and then they got to kind of come back. Wednesday is going to be a slow start because they know they play Sunday night, so you can kind of move the practice back a little bit, make sure guys aren't too beat up. You got to check on Blake Cashman. You got to, unfortunately, check on Jeff Okudah. So there were some injuries. They did not walk off the field unscathed, but they did get the win. And Sam, the one thing that I took away from this, haters are going to hate and players are going to ball. Ballers balled, players hated. There were some haters out there that were player hating, but there were some ballers out there that said, we're going to drown out the noise. Kevin O'Connor, I love that he said, I told JJ McCarthy, you are going to have a comeback and win this game for us. And he said, JJ McCarthy didn't look like a deer in the headlights. He didn't look like, coach, don't put this pressure on me. Looked him in the face, and he just had that look like, let's go do it. The look that Thomas Brady would have. The look that Peyton Dontarius Manning would have. I don't know if Eli would have that because Eli always kind of looks like, well, what am I doing here? But Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Steve Young. In his debut, J.J. McCarthy did something in 45 years. It's only been done one other time by Steve Young. A 10-point plus fourth quarter comeback by a rookie or first-year debut starter. And that goes to J.J. McCarthy. Now, I'm not saying give him the gold jacket. I'm not saying this is about to be a Hall of Fame career. Don't go there with me, people. But I am saying the guy can win football games. He was 27-1. You could talk about Connor Stallions. You could talk about whatever you want. You got to throw the ball. Like, you can give me you could tell me the defense is going to run cover 2 and blitz the guy off the edge, and I'm at quarterback. I probably still might not make the right decision. I probably still can't get the ball there. You could probably tell a couple quarterbacks that are in the NFL. I'm not going to say names because this is not a show. We don't hate on players. But I'm pretty sure there are some college and NFL quarterbacks you could help and cheat and tell them what coverage is coming, what blitz is coming because you know the signal, and they still probably don't do the right thing. J.J. McCarthy, we can throw all that Michigan crap out the window because he has NFL film now. He has NFL game film now. And when the blitz came, he got out the pocket. When the RPO needed to be held, he held it and scored a touchdown. A tutty for J.J. McCarthy. And T.J. Hockenson with the great block. Now, let's be real. You look at PFF. I'm not a fan of PFF. We know that. But the bottom 5 graded guys, I saw Justin Jefferson's name in that. I saw T.J. Hawkins' name in that. That's a little scary. It's a little scary. But does it matter? No, because we know they're great. We know they're Pro Bowlers. The one that was awesome was one of the top 5 graded guys was my guy, Donovan Jackson,
Woo!
Offensive guard.
Had
himself a debut. So, Sam, looking at the way this game played out, did you ever think it would have gone that way? Like, JJ, you're that bad, and then you're that good.
I think there was definitely a bright lights factor at play. That was a risk of last night. I think the emotion of going home, they made a lot on the broadcast about this is where he saw his first game against the Vikings back in 2007 when he was a kid wearing the Brian Urlacher jersey. Mm-hmm. He felt it. I mean, his first 2 preseason games, he played a nice quarter or 2 quarters in the friendly confines. He'd never played an NFL road game before, ever. So that was a totally different beast. And I think he felt it. Whether he admits it or not, I think he felt it. Once he got in a rhythm, it was hard to take him out. I mean, once he got going, he made some high-level throws. It was very Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, it was a flip, Ron, a switch that got flipped, Ron. For 3 quarters, stuck in the mud, and then a 4th quarter onslaught. It was kind of a 2022 win a little bit for the Vikings, where they kind of messed around for 3 quarters, and then they hit the gas and took off. But, man, I was starting to check out. Late in the 3rd quarter, Bears were driving. It looked like they could go in for kind of this game-sealing touchdown. And then it just all changed. And I think it was part McCarthy that changed it. I think it was part Jordan Mason that changed it. Special teams changed it. Mm-hmm. And the defense just got really physical all of a sudden. So there were a lot of factors in play. But what a confidence builder for a young man to realize I can play like that for 3 quarters. but I can still change the narrative of the game. That does not need to define the game that I have. If I have 3 pretty terrible quarters, to be honest, Ron, it was not good. It was not good. I was amazed at how the whole team stuck with it and just shifted and played 15 minutes of the best football you'll see.
Yeah, and if you think about that, hats off to the special teams guys. You got Eric Wilson, punt block. Also had to play starting linebacker. I wonder who's going to get the green dot. That's going to be the conversation this week because we know Blake Cashman for sure is not playing this week. So I wonder if Ivan Pace takes the green dot or does Eric Wilson assume the green dot role. We know Kobe King now probably comes in the Eric Wilson role and plays a little bit more. So now I get a chance, which is kind of cool. You know, his first home game, Kobe King now probably gets a little bit more run on defense. He's probably going to get a little bit bigger role on special teams. So that's interesting for the Kobe King pickup. You know, hat off to the Vikings for noticing that 5th round pick and using it on a potential now guy that's going to be your 3rd linebacker coming into the game to spell off Eric Wilson and to spell off Ivan Pace, maybe to get him off the edge. I saw Dallas Turner out there a bunch, but you got to give your hats off to Eric Wilson, punt block. Miles Price flipping the field a little bit, like keeping the punt, not to fair catch it, but to get energy back to that sideline. Like he took that energy from the defense and shot it into the offense. Like, you know, Hadouken, Street Fighter style. He grabbed it, or anime. I don't know, whatever you kids do today, but he grabbed that energy from that defensive stop, shot it right back to the offense. For those watching on YouTube, you saw what I did. For those that are listening on the podcast network, whatever you're on, you missed out. So please go to
Ron's
YouTube.
shooting literal force fields out of his hand.
You should just see the camera move. The lights are flashing like Raiden when he comes down on Street Fighter. For all my Street Fighter fans out there, Ken and Ryu, Hadouken. You're missing out if you're not on YouTube, people. I got my Vikings purple quarter zip hoodie on today because it just felt like a purple Tuesday. Like it felt like a purple. Sam, today is one of those days where you just want to wear this and go to your local coffee shop, go to the grocery store. I get to go on campus today because I'm shooting the PJ Flex show every Tuesday. So I get to go to campus today. I'm not going to wear this on the PJ Flex show because it really doesn't match, but I am going to wear it down there and then I'm going to take it off and have my, just normal polo on.
Yeah.
But it feels good when the Vikings win. I didn't grow up a Vikings fan, but I am a fan of the players, as you know, Sam, and guys that like lend their time to us, guys that let us bend their ear and give us back some good intel and info. It's fun, like Levi Drake Rodriguez made some plays, seeing Miles Price out there on special teams. And then Ty Chandler, like we had written off Ty Chandler. It felt like everybody was on the Xavier Scott train. Everybody was Ty Chandler shouldn't be here. I ran into Ty Chandler and I gave him a heads up. I said, man, look, when you were with Alexander Madison, we were all pulling for you. Like you looked legit. And I don't know if it's emotions, mental, physical, what, but you could tell it changed just a little bit when Jordan Mason got here. It felt like Ty Chandler maybe felt like I am the incumbent 3. There's no chance for me to be the 2. And it felt like he regressed. But then what happened? Now we're seeing his role. He caught that kickoff return, looked over at KLC. And not only was KLC signaling, get out of here, man. Come on. You saw Aaron Jones behind him. You saw another player everybody's following KLC like angels in the outfield. Everybody's doing the signals. Everybody. You guys are missing out if you're not on YouTube, people. You're just missing all the hand gestures, all the
Ron's
action.
Actually levitating. He's got a halo and he's floating.
I know. I did feel like I was moving a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's signaling come out the end zone like a third base coach because I coach my daughter's softball team. I know what that's like. I did that this past Sunday. You got to hold up, go home, run. And KLC was a perfect third base coach in that situation, which there's a bunch of things. I think Luke Braun brought this up. Like there was a wrinkle that you can just kick the ball 2 inches in front, which is an illegal kick, but then clock doesn't start and the ball is moved to whatever, like the 40. So you lose the field position, but you don't start the clock. And so I think that's part of it. So him kicking it, not being able to get it out the end zone.
And the coach said that was that they asked him to kick it out the back.
They did. He just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. Should have gone out of bounds. I don't understand. Why do you take that risk? Why not just kick it in the 10th row of the stands?
Wow. That is crazy. Like, and I guess you can't drop kick it or punt it, but I'm just like, that's crazy that he couldn't kick it out the end zone. Like, that's why it pays to have a Will Reichert. Will Reichert would have put that thing in the stands. Like, it pays to have a strong-footed kicker. And so, I mean, we might look back on this game, whether they lose to the Bears at home or not. This is one of those pivotal, monumental moments that, one, pushed the Lions into the basement of the NFC North. They might not be there for long. Who knows? But it put the Vikings. I haven't looked at the standings and the points for and against, if the Vikings are ahead of the Packers or the Packers are ahead of the Vikings. My guess is I think the Packers gave up less points, so it puts the Packers at 1, Vikings at 2, Bears at 3, Lions at 4. If I'm right, because I think the Bears scored more than the Lions. Also, the Bears look better than the Lions. I'm going to give them that. Caleb Williams looked really good. The Lions had 0 explosives. So what's going on? Is it because Ben Johnson wasn't there? Because the Bears had explosives. They had explosives. And the year before, the Bears were not an explosive team. You know, so Ben Johnson, hats off. Aaron Glenn had the Jets almost beating the Steelers. Coaches matter. Defense, offense, coach. Antoine Randall, he's followed Ben Johnson to Chicago. Dan Campbell's over there like, can somebody please bring him back? It's like the water boy. He took the playbook with him, and now Dan Campbell's sitting there like, I don't know what to do. Should I go for it? Should we go for 4th down? And Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I am wrong. Did the Bears go for it on 4th down and not get it? Did we have one of those?
Correct. Yeah, they had.
That's what I thought early in the game,
Williams,
right?
Yeah, 4th and 2 or 4th and 3. Williams threw it over the middle, bad throw.
Josh Metellus,
led the guy too far, got knocked down, and then later in the game they had a 4th and 2 about the same spot, and they kicked the field goal in that spot. So I think they were 0 of 1, I believe, on 4th down.
Yeah, and so that's where you kind of think about that, and you're like, with the Lions, he went for it every time. Dan Campbell was telling him to go for it. With the Bears, he tried it, didn't work, and now is he second guessing himself? Like, does he feel like this team is not the team that the Lions were? So, chicken or egg? We always talk about this. Was it Belichick or was it Brady? Was it Brady or was it Belichick? Belichick struggled and still struggles without Brady. Brady went and won a Super Bowl. You have the facts there. That's it. You have the facts. Was it the Lions or was it Ben Johnson? The Lions struggled, and Ben Johnson just wasn't the same aggressive guy he was with Dan Campbell. So sometimes marriages work to perfection. And when you amicably separate, you got another job. He's going to go get a new coordinator. No hard feelings. It still doesn't work sometimes. Like, as much as we want it to. Now, I'm not going to lie, Sam, when the game first started, my Twitter was quiet because I was sitting there like, this team might actually be good. I mean, I did post some jokes about the offensive line, the left tackle specifically, because the rest of the line looked fine to me. But I was like, I'm not going to hate on J.J. McCarthy. I'm not going to make any gut judgments about, man, we should have had Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold didn't look great. I'm not going to say, like, maybe they should have paid Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones did look good. Should they have started Carson Wentz? No, he's not the same guy. So I'm glad I stayed off of Twitter and didn't let my emotions get to me early, Sam. Because early on, it was concerning. Very, very concerning. And, you know, speaking of some tweets.
I'm sure everybody was as measured and logical as you, and they withheld judgment, right? Is that what happened? Nobody jumped to conclusions whatsoever.
Play the sounder. Dun, 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 dun. Tweet. Tuesday tweets, people. Chris Carter had a good one. 1-0 Skol. Very, very, very level-headed. Meat Sauce Paul Lambert. 2-15. My only guess is that's what he was thinking the Vikings record was going to be this season. So he went from 2-15 to we have a quarterback. He's a guy. So, like, he went through the emotions. Colin Cowherd backtracked as well. J.J. McCarthy is the, can we already vote the comeback player of the week and da-da-da, and J.J. McCarthy. Like, so there were some people that were on the train. Think about all the people that hated on him. But here's the one, Sam, that gets me. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers. His tweet was that.
Your best friend, right?
He's my guy.
Yep.
His tweet was, I feel like J.J. McCarthy, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on. I feel like J.J. McCarthy, or this is proof of why J.J. McCarthy should have played, or tell me why tell me why J.J. McCarthy didn't play more preseason games, because early on he was struggling. And that was his tweet. So my response was just, I trust Kevin O'Connell. He's a great evaluator of talent and quarterback. He had 2 preseason games because last year he had 1, and this year, plus the offseason, plus the joint practices to get it done and see what he had. And he felt like, I know what I got in this guy. I don't think preseason games will give you the same bright lights feeling to be able to get through a first game, because Jaden Daniels had 2 preseason games and he had a live joint practice. Same amount of time as J.J. McCarthy. Did he need more time? We've seen quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, like Johnny Manziel, get all the preseason. Did it help them? No. Now Baker Mayfield's doing well now, but did it help him then? Daniel Jones. We remember that story. Didn't help him. Like, sometimes it just doesn't work what you think it's what should be done. It's opinion. And I said, hey, everybody's welcome to their opinion, because I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. Everybody's welcome to an opinion. His response is, your trust is an opinion. How is trust an opinion? It's literally not. Like, when you Google it, it literally, the first sentence says trust is not an opinion. It is based off subjective, blah, 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 objective, da, 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 da. And I think the last sentence says, and value, belief, and opinion. But it literally
there's
says
trust and there's faith, right? Like
correct.
Faith is like something that you can't see. Trust is something you've seen 3 years of what Kevin O'Connell does with quarterbacks. You've seen J.J. McCarthy in training camp and preseason games. Like, you've seen stuff. You have evidence.
Correct. An AI overview says trust is not simply an opinion. That's the end of it right there. It's not simply an opinion. It's the belief in someone or someone, blah, blah, blah. And then it says trust also involves observable behaviors, establish reliability that can be objectively assessed. He then says, did you not read the thing? It literally says opinion. It doesn't say opinion anywhere. Like, you're just making stuff up. Like, you're just making stuff up at this point because you don't want to be wrong. And I said, here's the facts. He won the game. Hello. He played to win the game. Shout out to, here's the nexus of that. Herm Edwards, New York Jets. Aaron Glenn, we talked about that. 60 degrees separation. Herm Edwards also Arizona State. Jaden Daniels, Arizona State. He was involved in this. There's always 60 degrees of separation within a tweet. Mm-hmm. And that is my tweet of a Tuesday, or Tuesday tweet of the day, because Peter Bukowski is just an opinionated guy, and he's welcome to it, but you're wrong. There was nothing proving that J.J. McCarthy needed to play more preseason, because you're not going to have your offensive line out there. I said it was about gelling. I said the purpose of preseason is to gel with teammates and to gel with your receivers. Well, he wasn't going to have Justin Jefferson. He had a little bit limited of Jordan Addison, but in practice we saw it, and they were great together, so he was done there. Hawkinson wasn't going to play. His left tackle wasn't going to play. His center wasn't going to play. So what's the purpose? To get him hurt? Like, we saw enough. Put him on ice. He's done. I saw enough. He got it done. He got enough done with the Patriots. We're going to have a full week of Patriots practice, ones versus ones. Yeah, you can't hit him, but you're still going after him, and you got to get the ball out of your hands fast. He saw it. Bright lights, Sam, and I think that's where you're right. Bright lights. Did it get to him a little bit? I think a little bit of it too, that first two drives, he was checking out and into stuff way too much. I felt like he was letting the Bears dictate his feelings on what he saw, and they were giving him like looks. And even Peyton Manning said it on the Manning cast when Eli said something about that first blitz, and they went zone, but it was a zone blitz. Peyton was like, oh, I would have thought it was man too. He's like, look at the corners. Look at the safeties. How in the world do you get to zone out of this? And it was a loose zone, and so it was just the perfect zone call for the perfect play. And if Kevin O'Connell had a different play, maybe an in-breaking route, maybe a shallow across the middle, a hook right up the middle, a pop from the tight end, kind of like I did, because I did on the pregame show with the Lions play, and I'm going to probably upload that today to kind of show what Flores did and what he saw in Ben Johnson. Maybe it's a different outcome. But, Sam, at the end of the day, the Vikings won, and they were 1-0. The Bears are behind them. It's time to move on to the Falcons. But before we move on to the Falcons, we got to talk a little Gophers as well. Gophers got a huge 66-point win. Ended the game with 6 minutes to go, so there's no doubt in my mind they probably could have. And the two plays they did not score, one was receiver's fault and the other one was a turnover. They could have scored maybe 80 plus, like easily. Now, they could have definitely done it if they left the starters in. They took the starters in, Sam, after the first quarter. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
You get Chicken
Jansky was in there in the second quarter up 50,
right.
52-0, 56-0.
Right. Like, when is the last time you seen a starter go out in the second quarter? Like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, it's time for somebody else to come in.
Glenn Mason would have never pulled the starters in the second quarter.
No, I don't think so. I think he would have left us in. We'd have probably scored 77. And then in the second half, maybe he would have told us, all right, we're done. But honestly, like, I think getting Shikenjansky, his time, that helps out just in case anything happens to Drake Lindsey. Hopefully nothing ever happens this season. But he got him his time. So we'll catch up with Brevin Span-Ford and hang out with the Ron Johnson segment, talk a little Gophers, finish up with a little bit more Vikings, and then we'll get to the Daily 3. We got all that coming up next after a word from our sponsors.
FanDuel brings us today's show, and the Vikings covered last night. Yep, they were 1.5, maybe 2.5 points, depending on when you made the bet. They covered 1 by 3 at FanDuel. Hopefully you took advantage of this new offer, and you still can for the next few weeks. New customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Bet 5, get 300. That is awesome. FanDuel last night, I had Thielen, 3.5 receptions over. He got 0. He got shut out on that. 2-point conversions don't count. I also had Aaron Jones, 5+ rushing yards in each quarter. That didn't go great either. I needed the other guy. I needed Jordan Mason for that one. So that's unfortunate, but it's still fun. Made every moment a little more interesting. And if you want to take advantage of that Bet 5 300 offer, you can join FanDuel, download the FanDuel app, or visit FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
I'm here with Brevin Span-Ford, Dallas Cowboys Brevin Span-Ford, but you're back here in Minnesota, 66-0. But what's it like being back on campus?
It's been awesome. This has been the first game I've been able to come back to, so it's just good to see, all the people that, I came in here as an 18-year-old kid, being able to come see these guys play, and then see the staff that, watched you grow up and go through the ranks of being a college player.
And when you are back on campus, what is one of the things that you always try to make sure you do?
See my people,
okay.
For sure. Whether that's back in St. Cloud, I'm good friends with guys that are still on the team. Making sure, I'm always there for them, whether that be, off the field, on the field, here for whatever they need. Just making sure I can do that. And then now it's kind of seeing alumni like yourself, you know what I'm saying? Continuing to build those relationships, I feel like me and you, for example, I got to know you while I was here, but, now getting to understand you and be a grown man as well as you, and be kind of an acquaintance to you is awesome.
And I remember being at the Indiana game. I was on the sideline covering the game on the road. I told you and your coach that night, and in Arizona at the bowl game, I said, you have an NFL skill set that the Gophers didn't always utilize, but now you're getting a chance on the NFL stage, playing alongside of Jake Ferguson. What is that like to kind of see that come full circle for you?
It's one of those things, too. It's just the coaches you have growing up, sometimes they see it in you before you see it in yourself. So kind of having that reassurance from, people who have, been through what you've been through is awesome. And then going out and, being able to do it, that just reassures myself. So.
And you got a chance to play in one of the most viral moments in football. Dak Prescott decides to spit on the ground. Nothing to do with it. But in that moment, when you guys saw Jalen Carter spit on Dak, get kicked out, what was going through everybody's mind at that moment?
Oh, well, I've never seen anything like it. And, Jalen Carter, obviously a great player. The game plan is going to center around him. So,
yep.
When you see one of their best players leave the field, it's like, one thing, you can't believe what happened. But two, it's like, okay, now we got to go to work.
And the rest of this NFL season, you guys are going to play the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
You've seen the Minnesota Vikings. You've been here around it, man. What is that like playing a team and guys that you know?
Yeah, I feel like, it's throughout the league, guys on mostly every team. So it's not much different when it's the Vikings. It's different. I'd say it'd be different if we were here, but we'll be in Dallas with it. So, no, I'm just excited to go against, my childhood team.
And I see you wearing the Jamison Gears jersey.
Yep.
Like, are you team J-Mo? What is that about? Because I saw Max Brosmer, he was wearing the Drake Lindsey jersey.
I had to make sure I went over to the Gears. They have a little tailgating spot.
Okay.
So I went over by the little hotel over there, and J-Mo's mom was like, you got to wear it. I was like, I'd love to. So I'm representing J-Mo and the rest of the tight ends today.
And for PJ Fleck and the Gophers, what is something that you've taken to the NFL that PJ has kind of instilled in you in the Rose Bowl culture?
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't name just one thing that I've learned from Coach Fleck. Just how to treat people is one of the biggest things, how to treat people and how to just carry yourself like a professional. Whether you're, on the field, doing the right things, whether you're outside of it, studying, and just how you treat people, really. Just being a good person.
And you guys have 24 NFL players right now, current players from Minnesota. What is that like being when you see the group of guys continue to grow in NFL bodies around the league, where after games, before games, you're linking up with your former teammates, you guys are able to jersey exchange, take pictures together, all that stuff, man? How's that been?
It's been awesome. That's probably one of the coolest things, full circle things you can have. When you're playing against, guys like Jay Howe, where it's like, I was lockers across from him for 4 years. It's just a full circle moment getting to see those guys, excel at the next level and be who they are.
Well, appreciate you, man. Good luck rest of the season.
Well, yeah, Sam, man, it's always good to catch up with former Gophers. And the one thing that Brevin Span-Ford that I really enjoy hearing was the fact that, like, because we always see the pictures on Instagram and guys jersey swapping or guys taking pictures together because they're all former Gophers, but that, like, they really enjoy that. Like Tyler, because he said he has Tyler Nubin coming up this year with the Giants, and he's playing and then he's playing the Vikings. Like, that was the other thing. Like, Cowboys, Vikings. I'm like, you grew up in this, like, Viking stuff, blah, blah. Like, how was that? And he's like, man, it's like a dream come true. Like, all that little stuff like that, Boye Mafe, I can go down Jordan Houghton, Antoine Winfield. Like, I can go down the list of Gophers, Tyler Johnson, that are active on active rosters. But even the guys this year, Max Brosmer, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's fun to see those guys all getting a chance to and then Blake Cashman, of course. Hopefully Blake's back by that game too. But Brevin Span-Ford, here's the thing. That game was so over that if the camera would have panned around at that point in the game, like, we did the interview. So at halftime, I was like, hey, let's catch up at halftime, because we were both on the sideline. I was like, let's watch I want to watch the game because I got to do the postcast. So I didn't want to be doing an interview during the game. Just like Drake Levi Rodriguez, if you guys saw it last week, that was halftime for him. Because I want to watch the game. I'm not doing interviews during games. Even though it might look cool to have the game in the background. I don't know how the NFL or college football. I know NFL, you can't have your camera rolling on the sideline if you're not an NFL person. But I wonder college if they have that rule. But anyway, so I do them at halftime. And Sam, when I tell you half the crowd was just standing around drinking at that point, like, it was like there was cheers here and there for first downs. But it was so over by that point at halftime. Like, it literally felt like they could, like, the rain could have come at halftime, and I bet the refs would have said, hey, do you guys just want to call it? I bet they would have called it at halftime. Like, I'm pretty sure, the coach would have been like, yeah, let's just let the clock run and see how long this storm goes. And if the clock runs out before we can get back out to warm up, then, yeah, let's end it. But did you have that?
Did you see Matt Rule? Did you see the Matt Rule video? Oh, you got to see it. So Matt Rule, on Saturday, there was a leaked video from the locker room. I don't know. Someone's probably in trouble. Yep. Because someone leaked his entire halftime speech up 33-0, and he is freaking out. They're up 33-0. He's freaking out because, like, the other team dared to drop back against them with 40 seconds left in the first half, and they almost ruined the shutout. He was livid because they were up 33-0, and the other team was looking at. They weren't scared enough. It's crazy. You got to see it.
And anyway, are we sure that he is mad about the video?
I don't know if he's mad about the video. I would probably be mad, though. Like, if your locker room.
So here's the thing about the locker room. So, because we were in the locker room too, because PJ does that, like, former players that have field passes. If you want to come into the locker room, feel free. So I know so that's the thing. Like, your players aren't going to have their phones because they're in their lockers. Like, they're not allowed to. They could take them out for warm-ups, and then they have to put them away when they get in the locker room. But if you're a fan, like, look at the video, because I always look at, like, the wins and the video. There's tons of locker room videos from fans that get to stand around pregame and halftime. And whether they're like a close personal friend to the team, they're a friend of a spouse, and so they just want to go in and get that experience. There's a lot of hanger-ons in the locker room, whether it's a former player, whether it's a spouse or whatever. So a kid of a coach's friend, of a neighbor. So I don't think Matt Rule is mad, because my thing is, the cameras are rolling, especially halftime speeches, because those are usually used later for, like, content. Remember Dan Lanning with Oregon when he did his whole deal, and I forgot who he got into it with. Was it Shadur Sanders? It was Shadur Sanders, wasn't it? When he said, like, we don't play for clicks or something like that. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
When Dan Lanning did his little speech to get his team hype. And then Deion Sanders made the comment, and then Oregon, I think Oregon shellacked them, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. I think Oregon killed Colorado. But, Deion was trying to do what he could do to get his team hype and use that as bulletin board material. Like, they think you just play for clicks. And then I think Deion came out later and had the players with their, remember they had their Instagram deals on their back. And so he's like, it's not about the click, it's about the engagement, so you got all sides of that. But Matt Rule, so here's the thing. PJ did it in front of everybody. Remember, they were up huge, and the kicker followed the ball into the end zone and kicked the ball out the back of the end zone. Remember? And he was pissed and was yelling at the punter because he's saying, hey, if this would have mattered, we always got to do it right. We cannot let go and get lackadaisical. Do it right. Don't follow the ball in the end zone. Don't kick the ball out the back of the end zone. All that little stuff. Like, he wants his punter to stay back. Why are you running down there? You're the last line of defense. What if something happens? You're already jogging down because you're like, oh, whatever. Like, it's just we're up 59-0. No, keep playing. So I understand Matt Rule, and I think like CB, or I don't know who did the game, but they caught Big Ten Network. They caught PJ Fleck yelling at his punter after that, and they're up huge. So I think it's just coaching. It comes down to great. Matt Rule's a great coach. PJ Fleck's a great coach. I think you just want to make sure your players don't. And here's the thing too, Sam. When you relax and you're not playing your hardest is when you get hurt. And I think that's the other side of the coin. Is like they don't want players to get hurt. But, the Gophers absolutely blew them out. They got Cal coming up, so it should be a fun one. Jackson Howard, his dad, Willie Howard, played for Stanford. They're from out there in that California area, so he's going to have over 100 fans and family showing up to that Cal game, so that should be fun. Hopefully the Gophers can go out there on the West Coast. It's going to be so late, though, Sam. Oh, my goodness. Like, that's going to be the latest postcast I've ever done in my life. Like, that is late. 9:30 kick. I don't do coffee, so I don't even know how I'm gonna get up for that. Like, I got to take a nap on Saturday probably beforehand because my daughter has tryouts for I think softball. I gotta look and see what she has. I think she has tryouts for softball, or maybe it's next week. But I got softball tournament. Yeah, my older daughter has a softball tournament this Saturday. So, we're going to do that on Saturday. We should be done at home by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And then hopefully maybe I'll get an hour nap because we're doing the pregame show early that day because it's a West Coast game. So they're like there's no spot to do a 7 o'clock pregame show. So there's like 7 p.m. So we're just going to do our normal, 9 a.m. Pregame show time. So that should be, my day is going to be kind of really spread out. I got volleyball with the kid in the morning, then I got the pregame show, then volleyball with the kid in the morning, then she's got softball later that night, and then the next day the other one has softball. I'm going to try to get to that, and then I got to get down to the stadium for that pregame show for the Vikings. So it's a lot. It's a lot of night games in this first little span, but we're going to get through it, Sam. Like, I'm on fumes today because I didn't go to sleep last night till like 2:30 a.m. because I was cleaning up the house. And then also still trying to get my nerves. Like, I don't know if your nerves were crazy, but it was crazy. Like, my emotions, like, I was so docile during the first part of the game. And then by the second half, I was clapping. I was excited for JJ. And again, I'm not like a diehard fan or anything, but I hate to see guys fail because I know how fragile it can be and how quick things can turn. But the Vikings got it turned around. The Gophers are in a big road game. Coming up next, though, Sam, start with the Daily 3. This should be a fun one. We got the Daily 3 questions. Spend about 2 to 3 minutes each today. We'll be back after a short pause. All right, let's go. What you got?
All right, we got surprises and disappointments from week 1 of the NFL season. Let's start with a positive, something that stood out or a surprise to you from week 1 around the league.
So the whole league or just the Vikings?
Whole league. Let's go wider lens. There's a lot of good football.
Good surprise, not a bad surprise.
Yeah,
a good surprise. A good surprise from around the. I'm gonna go. So 1, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. Great game. Josh Allen, absolute, like, because people try to say like weddings, marriages, all this stuff that he went through, like, could be a distraction, and you're marrying a superstar. You got all this, And then a lot of other people were saying, like, man, he's pissed off about that movie and the stuff his wife did in the movie. He's about to go for 5,000 yards. He's on path. He's on path for it. I don't know what the math is. What did he throw over 394 or something like that, right?
Yeah. Just about 400.
394 times 17, Sam, is 6,698 yards, Sam. What's the NFL record? Has there been a 5,000-yard quarterback?
Well, Peyton Manning has it, doesn't he? Or he did at one point. Maybe it's been broken.
Josh Allen might throw for 6,000 if he goes for 400 a game.
If their defense gives up 40 a game, then he probably has a chance too.
Here's why, and I hate to do this. Like, the Ravens stuff is in the background. Shout out to the Ravens. They just sent me some merch. So I got my Ravens merch in the mail this week for the first week. I got the video. I'm about to post it and tag the Ravens. Appreciate you guys. I want Lamar Jackson to do great and win the MVP. The only reason I don't want Lamar Jackson to win the NFL MVP is because I'm sick of all the people that do this number stuff. This is like his 8th season. He wears number 8 and da-da-da-da, and, GOAT, and the word GOAT is ba, in Manti Te'o's language, and ba is 8, and da-da-da. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Stop that. Stop with the wizardry. Like, I get it, and you're trying to make content, but stop it. Now, I will say Josh Allen, 1 plus 7 is 8, so maybe they're onto something. And that's the only reason I want it. But, JJ McCarthy can't win the MVP at this point unless he starts to have 400-yard games. But can he win Rookie of the Year?
No. No, it's the only sport where I don't think you can. I think NHL, NBA, MLB, this would have been his rookie year.
First year, yeah. But so he can't win Rookie of the Year. He can win Comeback Player of the Year, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe Comeback Player of the Year. But can't win Rookie of the Year, unfortunately, because I feel like he should be up for that. But, whatever. Semantics. But, yeah, I'd say that was my surprise, was how good the Buffalo Bills were and how they stayed in it. And then, of course, my other surprise is Jordan Mason. Like, I did not expect him to be that good and be that dominant this early. But clearly, I was wrong. Maybe other people had him on that type of game. But I thought this would be an Aaron Jones game. And Jordan Mason would slowly work his way into the fold as the season progressed.
Mm-hmm. For me, how about Emeka Egbuka showing out for the Bucs?
Yeah.
Really impressive debut for him. Couple TDs. Aaron Rodgers with the Renaissance, beating his former team, taking it to the Jets. That was highly entertaining. And I thought, well, we'll get into the disappointments. We'll get into the disappointments next question. Daniel Jones, though. Flowers to Daniel Jones. Good performance for the Colts.
Kevin O'Connell. Give Kevin O'Connell credit.
Just if you brush up against the hem of his garment, you become a magician at quarterback. How about disappointments, Ron? What stood out to you in week 1?
Man, my disappointment has to be the start of the Vikings game offensively. That was very disappointing in my opinion. I felt like you should have had some easier opportunity passes for him, get him lathered up, not just come out the gate trying to throw daggers and make him the best QB out there right away. That was the only disappointment for me. Oh, and then Tua in Miami, and seeing Tyreek Hill visibly frustrated, that was really disappointing. Like, I felt so bad for Tyreek Hill. He's already going through a lot. I feel like it's all but signs pointing to he better ask to get out and go back to Kansas City. Like, tuck your tail between your legs, go back to Kansas City, go be Patrick Mahomes' outlet, go deep. Pat's going to get it. Travis Kelce's going to have a bunch of opportunities to get open and keep you safe. Tyreek Hill and Tua, that one threw me off. Also the injuries, like George Kittle getting hurt, Harrison Smith not playing, Blake Cashman getting hurt. I was really disappointed. I'm like, because people are saying like, oh, that's why you need more preseason. I don't even know if that's the answer. Like, soft tissue injuries sometimes just happen, and it sucks. It sucks. And so that I'm disappointed in that.
Was Cashman a hammy last year as well?
No, it was a foot. Time? It was a foot. Oh, maybe it might have been a hammy too. I don't know. I know it was a foot though. I remember the foot thing. Because he had the boot on. So it was a foot, like he had like a wasn't a bone bruise and it wasn't a break. It's one of those, like, it's not, it's like one of those.
Was it plantar fascia?
It was something where he had to wear the boot, and he just was out for 3 to 4 weeks. It might have been turf toe, actually. I think it might have been turf toe, now that I think about it. I think it was like a broken toe.
Yeah. It feels like that's going to be an IR stint. 4 weeks, hamstring, and then the bye. So maybe he doesn't even go to Europe. Or he does, and he, just hangs out. I
mean, yes and no. I don't know if you want to fly with an injury like that. Again, just the potential inflammation and the altitude, all that stuff. Like, that's a long flight just to sit there, too, and you could be at home sitting on your nice cushy couch. But it is a free trip to Dublin and London, being out the country for 2 weeks. I also see that side of it. And, you don't have to play, so you can go have all the bread and crumpets and beer you want. Yeah, I see both sides of the coin.
Yeah, that is a bummer of an injury, though. Eric Wilson, keep doing that, though. He can play at that level. That's going to be fantastic. All right. Audible on the last question. Let's see.
Omaha.
Let's look ahead to the Falcons game.
Yeah.
Penix and company coming to town. They had their hearts ripped out on Sunday. Younghoe Koo missed a field goal at the buzzer to lose that game, 23-20. What do you think of the Atlanta matchup?
I don't like Bijan Robinson, or Bijan, as he says. I'm scared. He's an absolute weapon with the ball in his hands. Michael Penix. By the way, people wonder why.
How many times will you do that this week?
Amir Penix played for the Gophers. People, he's a running back, so a lot of you don't remember that or even knew that. But it was Amir Penix was a running back for the Gophers. But Michael Penix Jr. It wasn't like he's throwing deep bombs to Bijan Robinson. It's just dumping it off and letting him work. So watching Caleb Williams run around that offense, I'm scared to see Bijan in open space. That's the only thing I'm nervous about. I'd say from a quarterback play, watching Baker Mayfield, the way they handle that, I think that J.J. McCarthy can have similar success against that defense. But again, Bijan Robinson only had 24 yards rushing, but he had 100 yards receiving. So that's where I'm like, him in the open field. Do you leave a fourth safety? Do you leave the three? Is Harrison Smith back? That's the other question too. But yeah, I think J.J. McCarthy should be able to win that duel as well. And they get a nice hug from Kirk Cousins at the end that everybody wants to take a picture of. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this will be a tougher test. I think that Penix is going to be a lot more accurate than Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
I think he's going to use his leg. Maybe not quite as mobile, but still pretty darn mobile. Vikings are going to have to play 4 good quarters. I don't think they can just have one good fourth quarter surge to beat this Falcons team. They're going to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for joining us today on the Ron Johnson Show. Remember, when you subscribe to Locked On Sports Minnesota, you're getting endless Vikings talk with local experts. How do you subscribe? Everybody's asking, Ron, how do I subscribe? You go to YouTube. Hit the little button that says subscribe and follow. And now you're in the group chat. You're in the group chat with us, people. W-chat. Come on. Chat with us on the postcast. Be in the group chat for Locked On Sports Minnesota on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast feed as well. Make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast group. We're going to have postcasts, squad shows, the Ron Johnson Show, and of course, after every Vikings and Gophers game, we're going to be there for you to help you wipe your tears or help you celebrate. And you can find all of our videos on Locked On Sports Minnesota's YouTube channel. Also, our socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Make sure you join in the conversation. Well, thank you guys. Have a great Tuesday.